Thanks for joining back at the pod, guys. Episode, what is this?
4.
Episode 4. Probably going to be one of my favorites. Got a really, really special guest. I call this person a friend. Some people, might know them from Twitter. Some people might know them from an odd way of exchanging a match slip at a tournament. But I'll let them introduce themselves. Alex, over to you if you want to say who you are and give your spiel.
Hi, I'm Alex Pokeduels. Some of you might know me. I'm the person that ate a lost vacuum card and also goes to like almost every event possible. Hi.
Yeah, that is the best intro ever, because literally I think that was the one viral post I remember. Anyone that I mentioned you to, they were like, that's the guy that ate a card, right? I'm like, yes, that's the person that ate a card.
And you would think this is all some type of joke, but it's 100%
No, it
real.
happened.
Yep.
I almost got banned.
Yeah. So that was comedy. I think there's a lot of information we can dive into in this podcast, with your social media following and just your journey in the Pokemon community itself. What got you into it, how it all started. I mean, again, I met you through TikTok. Some of us met you through Twitter. Some of us met you at events. If you want to kind of share, like, how did Pokeduels get started? Like, was it TikTok? Was it Twitter? Was it a Instagram post? What started it, and kind of what brought the journey through to this point?
That's a really great question. So, some of y'all might hate me. I'm a changed person. I started out as a live stream pack opener.
Rip and shit.
Yeah. When the Logan Paul boom happened in 2020 and like all the live stream pack openers started hopping in, I think it was 2021. I was just scrolling through TikTok one day and I saw someone that was like, they had like 1,000 people watching their live stream, but they're selling Fusion Stripe boxes for like $300 and people were buying them. And I'm like, that's not acceptable. I'm going to go in and do this. So I would just buy boxes and either sell them below what I bought them for or at exactly what I bought them for, just so people could buy stuff. Like, if they want to buy stuff online, they can get it for what they got for, or what they should get it for, MSRP.
Yeah.
And I just did that for like, it was like 7-8 months, I think. And after you look at enough Pokemon cards, you're like, wow, these are pretty. You can actually play with these. And then I just
like, what do they do?
Yeah. It was specifically kayfabe cards that got me into the tournament setting. They were really helping me out getting Pokemon singles, because after one of the gimmicks I would do that made my pack opening really blow up is I had this mystery box that had a bunch of vintage cards in it. If you got a booster pack that had an alt art in it, you get 10 free pulls from that box. And one of the pulls was the Legendary Collection Charizard, which is a $2,000 card. Wow. So people like, we'll buy packs from you. We got a chance to win a $2,000 card? Sure.
And they're at MSRP,
Let's go gambling.
So like,
yeah, exactly. So
what's the loss? They went.
Yeah, exactly. There's no loss. There's only upside there.
Yeah.
So after a while of like buying a bunch of cards from kayfabe, I think it was Parker Lish. Do y'all know Parker Lish? Vancouver 2022 champion. Yeah, Parker Lish was there at a tournament and he was like, you should play the game. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, if you want to play the game, there's this thing called the London Open happening this summer. And for context, I've never played in a major at this time. I would just go into the store, opening packs, buying singles. And he tells me about the Open because at Worlds, you can buy a bunch of collector stuff, and he just knew me as a collector. So he was like, you should go play in the Open. You can get a spectator pass. You can go meet these cool people at Worlds. For those of you who don't know, the London Open is like the World Championships Open tournament for anyone that play in. So yeah, he told me about that, and he's like, you should play in that, and maybe you can find some cool stuff like cool cards, cool playmats, collectibles, and you can sell them. And I'm like, this sounds like a good idea. And then he helped me train for 2 weeks, and I love the game sets.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Fire story.
That's awesome. It's a really cool
cool
story of how you can get in. I mean, I think there's merit to what you said about if you look at enough cards, you kind of you start enjoying the art of the simple cards, even the commons, uncommons. But then the step past that is like, well, I have all these cards and I'm collecting them, and half of these are like bulk EXs, Vs, whatever format we're in. It's like, what do they do? How can I use them? They're just sitting in a bulk box. You know, that's essentially how I got started. I was, I played. I'm gonna age myself. I played in base set 2, right? Early days as a kid on the playground, dragging cards, across the concrete, and then stopped in junior high. Stopped playing in junior high. Was too cool for cards. Was too cool for Pokemon, and came back 2020 Battle Styles. Was that 2020, 2019? Somewhere in there.
Battle Styles was 2020.
Yeah, 2020.
I'm pretty sure it was like November 2020.
Yeah, so came back during Battle Styles, bought a Urshifu VMAX deck off somebody, and just started playing. And it's because I had so much of the rest of it that I was like, oh, I only need like 15 cards or something. Started playing online, and then just jumped into it. And I do think that is kind of the trend you see. You see people that collect, and they want all the all the alt arts, or all the all the pretty cards, and then eventually they verge over to either the TCG or the VGC. So it's always a cool story. It's always cool to see how something starts from nothing, or like yourself, going from ripping packs for people to now traveling the US, and
what I love about this community is it's like just small actions. Like, everyone is so nice. Just the action of being like, hey, I think you would like this, you should go check it out, just radically changed my life. If Parker didn't have that conversation with me, I would not be what I'm doing be here doing what I'm doing right now. He just
whole life. That's crazy.
Yeah, like, everyone in this community is just so nice, and it's like, those small actions are just, they're so impactful. And that's what I love about this community specifically.
Yeah, I think we do have, out of all the card games, I do think the Pokemon community is probably the better, the more accepting of them,
For sure. I mean, I feel like cards, it's like, you have different card games, like the cards look cool, but I feel like so many people can relate to Pokemon, not only because like the TV show or the video games, that you get into collecting the cards, and then it's like, wait, what do these cards do? And then a lot of people get into the game just like that.
Yeah, and I do think the barrier to entry now, like between the pricing, between the pricing of just building a deck is so much lower than any other card game, but also like they've made it really easy. You can show up as a spectator at an event and go through like the play, what do they call it, the play lab now, and they'll give you like a basic deck, and then teach you how to play, and then all the leagues, they have test decks and all these things. So like the barrier to entry is really low, and it's really easy to get into. We had a person show up at one of our local tournaments and playing Miraidon, the Battle League deck, right? Like with the with the
with the Regieleki.
Yeah. And by the end of the night, he had a completely set up meta Miraidon deck just by people giving him cards.
I love that.
Like, we all just started flipping through binders, pulling cards out of decks, whatever we had to do.
You need this one. This one.
By the end of the night, they walked out of there. I actually unsleeved one of my decks I had brand new FCBCs on there. Unsleeved my deck. I had him shuffle 2 different decks because the colors would make it shuffle slightly different. So I had orange and I had blood reds, and he shuffled both. Picked the orange. I unsleeved my deck right in front of him. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "They're yours." Like, he was using ETB sleeves. I unsleeved the deck, handed sleeves off of it.
ETB sleeves?
yeah, because I mean, again, you think when you come in, you don't have anything, right?
Yeah.
Somebody had given him ETB sleeves, and by the end of the night, he had playable, competitive style sleeves and a full deck. And now the person's came back multiple times. So it's just the community's great,
That's so awesome. I love this community.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that makes it magical, and what keeps people coming back.
Right.
Sure.
100%. But yeah, I did touch on a little bit in the intro. Your social media following is pretty massive these days. You kind of touch how you got there. I guess I'd like to transition to talk about like, what are the challenges, what are the pros and cons of that? I mean, I know you're traveling, you're doing all these things, you're keeping up with this huge social media platform. What does that look like? I mean, from the outside looking in, it looks like you're juggling a bunch of plates and you're doing it well, but like, what does it really boil down to? Like,
well, you got to be okay with people constantly watching you. This thing specifically about being well known in like a niche community is when you're at those niche community events, it's so like everyone knows each other. So like when you start getting a few thousand followers, suddenly it's like you can walk up to any game store, at least multiple people are going to recognize you. So like constantly having to be aware that like you're constantly being watched, which is like cool and all, but it's like it's kind of stressful. Like
Are you worried
I
for
will admit
your
it's not the
safety
best. What?
ever? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Are you ever worried for like your safety?
Oh, never. It's the Pokemon
Okay,
community.
cool.
What is someone
Yeah,
gonna
you're
do?
right. I don't know.
That's true. Well,
We're all so loving. Like,
yeah.
if someone did something to me, sure, but like, I'm not worried about it. Like,
Right.
I think it's a 10-1, right? Even if you have one
Mhm.
person that tries to do something kind of off the beaten path, right? You have so many people in this community that are like gonna shut that down and make sure that person is no longer
Exactly.
welcome in this community, right?
Yeah.
We do a really good job as a whole of keeping the negative out, you know.
yeah.
But
But yeah, that's definitely the biggest struggle. Like, just knowing that you're constantly being watched. But it's fun. Like, just being able to interact with people. Like, the part that like it clicked in my head is like, wow, I have an impact. Is when I went to South Africa. I went to a random league challenge in South Africa when I was waiting for the special event to happen, and there was like a 6-person league challenge there, and this is like a week before the SPE. I walk in, the whole room looks is like Pokeduels, and I was like, "Cool, I'm getting spotted in South Africa." I love that.
That's awesome, though. I mean, that's I think what we all kind of strive to be, right? We all want to stake our flag in the ground in this community and let people know who we are and have a social media following, right? So it's cool to hear how that translates, because from the outside looking in, like I said, it looks like you've got a great handle on it and that it's it's this pretty smooth selling ship. But I know that there's internally got to be something in there that's a little difficult to deal with, right? So
Yeah.
um,
One little thing that's difficult to deal with, I will say, I noticed this at Indianapolis Regionals. Once you start getting to a certain level, constantly getting stopped when you're just trying to walk through the venue, it actually does become a problem because like you can just be trying to go from one side to the other, and if you're on a strict like deadline, you're gonna get stopped like 5-10 times. Like I can't even imagine how many times Azul gets stopped.
right.
If I'm getting stopped personally like 7 times just trying to walk to the bathroom, like so at Indianapolis Regionals, I just was tired of it, and I'm not sure if y'all were there, but it was a multi-level venue. So if you go outside, there's an escalator, and you can go to the second floor. When I went there to hide, Azul was there, Grant Manley was there, Caleb Gettimer, like they were all just up there hiding, and we just made eye contact, being like, "Yeah, we know why we're up here."
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I've been guilty of that. I mean, I always try to stop and talk to some of the top players and kind of pick their brain on the event, but I always try to be respectful of their time. Like I talked to Azul at Sacramento and stopped him. I was like, "Hey Azul, can I grab a quick picture with you?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I took a picture and I was like, "Hey, I don't want to hold you up too long. What'd you end up playing today?" And he's like, "Oh, I Reggie Drago." And I was like, "All right, well, I played Lost Box, so I hope I don't see you at all because that's just an auto loss." And he laughed, and I was like, "I'm sure I'll hear about it on your stream on why you picked that." And he was like, "Yeah, I'll talk about it, either there or on the podcast." I said, "All right, man, have a good tournament." And I think that's the barrier, right? Even like when you and I see each other, it's usually prior to the event, but when we see each other in passing, it's like we kind of gauge each other's mental tempo,
Yeah.
right? Because we've walked right past each other, just kind of did the, "Hey, how's it going?" But then we've also walked past each other, stopped, talked for 5-10 minutes, and then went our separate ways. So I think that's something that would stress to the player base that sees people like yourself or influencers, is like kind of read the room a little bit, kind of feel out the conversation,
And it's really hard for influencers, right? To like how do you gauge every situation? Like you don't want to be like mean or upsetting to anybody, but like you have, let's just put a number of like 100 people each event, like talking to you in between rounds when you're just trying to use the restroom or you're trying to, get some stress off by just taking a breather, you know, having all these people talk to you. Like how do you gauge that? Like, are you aggressive, or are you just like, I can't right now? Or
I'm always nice. I'll
Yeah.
always like have a smile and be cheerful for the first 2 minutes. But like,
Yeah.
I always say if I feel like they're a stopper, because people that always walk and talk, perfect. People that stop and want me to stop with them, hate that the most. When especially I'm trying to get somewhere. So if I feel like they're a stopper, I'll just be like, hey, if you want to talk to me, just walk with me because I'm going this way. And most of the time they'll be like, yeah, sure. And other times they're like, oh, I just want to say hi, and then they'll just keep walking. So that's usually how I gauge it.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think I would also tell people is like, if you're wanting to meet some of these top players or social influencers, go to the event Friday or the day before it
Yes.
starts, and
Mhm.
all these people check in, and that is the day that they will talk to you the most, right?
Mhm.
Because they're not fixated on what's going on in the tournament or what they've got going on or who they got to meet or where they got to go. They really set aside that time to really stop and let the fans, you know, meet them and kind of conversate. And you know, I think that would be my advice to new players or new people coming into the scene that want to meet people like yourself that have the big following, because I mean that comes with the territory, but at the same time we all kind of have to be respectful to that, right? So
How do you stay
Yeah, I will
focused during
100%
events?
agree.
How do you stay focused during the events, like with all that happening?
With all the people?
Yeah, like
Oh.
with people like stopping you and like kind of throwing you off. Like, does it throw you off a little bit, or?
Oh, all the time. I'll be like in the middle of a conversation and someone just shows up and they're like, oh, Pokeduels, hi. And then it's like, okay, now I'm talking to this person. 1 second. And then, like, it
Yeah.
definitely is a bit, like, jarring, but it's an event. People want to talk. I don't mind it. Like, if people just want to talk, they want to talk. It's whatever. But it definitely is, it definitely will throw you off if you're trying to do something. You just always got to be in a good mood because it's
There
very
you go.
easy. If there's too many people talking, it's very easy to get overwhelmed.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I think too, you and I have probably had more conversations inside events or in the
Yeah.
side event area, right? Like that's another place. And not all social influencers or pro players or even not all of them do side events, but you know, a lot of these people when they don't make day two, especially like yourself, because you usually stream TikTok videos, you know, TikTok
Mhm.
live whenever you're you know doing side events. That's like the perfect time to like conversate, because it's like
Exactly.
there's no stakes on the line, right? It's just sheerly for fun at that point. So that's another good time to kind of walk up to somebody like yourself and just, you know, introduce yourself, say hi, grab a picture, you know, whatever.
Exactly. The best time to talk to me is Friday and Sunday because I am not playing in day two.
No, you've been in a couple day twos. Don't lie. Don't sell yourself short. Um, but no, I think that's all good insight. I mean, especially like, you know, we mentioned a little before the pod, we're growing in our scene and trying to make the podcast kind of grow. So I think there is going to be some of that just comes with the territory. So it's nice to hear kind of what to expect in that realm. So
What are
One thing I will add real quick is something that I never expected is how perceptive some people in this community are. Because for the first, I would say, when I was doing competitive streams, I'd say for the first 6 months, I wasn't making it known what my face looked like, but people would recognize me at tournaments by my voice. And that like blew my mind. Like, this community is so smart. So like it's crazy. Like I love this community. They're great.
Yeah, for sure. I was just gonna ask, well, so you play so much Pokemon.
Mhm.
So what are some of your goals that you set yourself, like each season, or you just playing to have fun, or do you see yourself getting that top 8 on stream? Like what are some of your goals you set yourself?
Okay, so before I answer about what my goals are, I think the biggest thing that people struggle with is setting goals for themselves and setting their expectations to something realistic. Too many people go into these tournaments being like, I'm going to top 8. You need to set your expectations a lot more realistically so that way your
It feels a
emotions.
lot better.
Yes, you got to keep your emotions in check because this game is very much depending on your mental state. Nathan Stratford actually made a really good article about this on the Pokeduels website if y'all want to check that out. But
I'll link it. I'll link it in the
yeah,
the bio.
per-
Yeah.
personally, what I do is I just go in being like, if I have fun, I won. I don't care what happens in between each round. As long as I'm having fun and my opponent's having fun, it's a win. Sometimes I'll get championship points. Sometimes I'll day 2. Sometimes I won't. But when I go into a tournament, I'm mainly going in with the expectations of having fun. And that's the goal I set for myself. Anything beyond that is a win. Like if I'm leaving with championship points, if I'm leaving with prizing, if I'm leaving with the day 2, like perfect.
Yeah.
But
I think that's a good point because when actually Fresno, when we first met in person, Fresno regional, that was my first regional I played in, right? I only played locals up to that point, and not even like cups or challenges, just standard league nights, like super casual.
Were cups back there in Fresno?
I don't, Nikki, you might know because I wasn't.
What was that?
Were cups back during Fresno regional?
No.
Yeah,
no.
I think it was like the first quarter, right?
Cup started like right after Fresno.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had only played casually, so I show up to Fresno.
I'm a liar. I'm sorry.
I think it was the same quarter.
Yeah, Cup started the same quarter because that's when I met Mikey and them, and then because they're from Fresno. So when I went up to the regional, like it was their turf, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I rolled up to the regional and never played in like really competitive formats. So I did the one thing that I always tell people not to do now. I always tell people, like, if you've been playing a deck, stick with that deck. Like, if it's your first regional or your second regional, like, play what you're comfortable with. You're going to do better if you play with something you're comfortable with than changing last minute like I did. But my whole goal for Fresno was I just want to win one game. That was it. For my first regional, that's all I cared about. I just want to win one match. I could be 1 in 6 at the end of the day, 1 in 7, whatever it was back then, 1 in 9, I don't know, whatever it was at the end of the day. I just wanted to win one game. And I did that, I think I lost my first round, and round 2 I won. And from that point forward, I was like, hey, anything from here is just positive. You know what I mean? Like,
heck yeah.
But I think that is a good point, is like set the bar pretty low. And I actually, I talked to Dre about this one time at a cup. Him and I were talking, and he had mentioned, like, we were talking about what he was playing, what I was playing. And I was like, man, honestly, I haven't even shuffled cards in 3 weeks. I just came to hang out with friends. Like, if I bombshell it, I bombshell it. And I said, one day I'll make a day 2 at a regional. But honestly, like, this season I'm too busy. I'm not playing enough Pokemon to expect that. And he looked at me and he goes, that's the exception right there. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, that, if you have that mentality, you're already ahead of the game. He's like, because most people think that no matter what, that they're going to day 2, or no matter what, that's their goal. And he's like, if you set that mindset, you already know that you don't play enough to do that, then you're not creating a negative light for yourself. You're not like crushing your own dreams immediately. Yeah.
And then if you do make that, it's like a crazy feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
like if you set the bar too high, and the second you start missing it, your mental just becomes so like a mess. I've noticed every time I've done well at an event, it's whenever I went into the event being like, if I get a win, it's a miracle.
Yeah. Well, like a couple months ago, like I think it was my second cup win. Like I went with these guys to a cup in Fresno, and I picked up Cloth Terapagos like just that day, And I was like, you know what? I'm just here to have fun. And that was my mental the whole time. I was like, I'm just here to play, to have fun. And I even told him in the car ride, I was like, I want to see you guys in top 8, which they were. They were in top 8, and I ended up winning, which was like even better because I didn't go there to win the event, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Congrats on that. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, so it's always like, it's always good to set that bar like that. I feel like first and foremost, have fun, and then honestly set your expectations lower than what you think, because you're right, when you surpass what you set, it's a great feeling. So
for sure.
Well, so I mean, with that being said, I guess to transition a little bit, you travel. I said all over the U.S., which is short-sighting your travel because it's all over the world at this point.
It's all over the world, but specifically the U.S.
Yeah, but like, what is that like? Like, I mean, I know you said you love this community, you love this game. What does that look like as far as like the travel aspect? Like, what do you? I mean, pros, cons. How do you feel about that? Is it mentally draining? How do you adjust from traveling to different time zones? Like, can you just shed a little light on the whole travel as a kind of whole?
Yeah, I got you. So here's number one, because I notice so many people don't do this. Every time I have this conversation with people, it blows my mind. Get a travel airline credit card and make it your
Fire.
daily credit card. The rewards are worth it. If you get a travel credit card, some of your flights will be free eventually. I'm going to Brisbane, Australia in 2 weeks. That was completely free through the points I've used of using this credit card.
I don't know.
If you stay committed to an airline, it will pay off. So that's number one. But yeah, the traveling, I'm gonna be so for real. My body shuts down on planes. Like, I'm extremely terrified of planes. So as soon as I get on, I pass out. So I perfectly adjust to the time zone. Because I usually pick a flight that lands in the morning. So I'm waking up in the morning. So it's like an instant time zone change for me.
Gotcha.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah. For
So
me,
I guess I would recommend melatonin. If you can't fall asleep on planes, get some melatonin. Pick a flight that lands in the morning. Usually, like, if you're going international, at least go like a day or two before. Because like, if you're just going for the event, like, sure, if you can only like do weekends, that's fine. But like, see the places you're going to.
For
like,
sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going internationally, because like, you never know when you're gonna go back.
Right.
Make a trip out of it.
Yeah, and
I got a bit lost for a second. What was the rest of the question?
No, I guess the rest of that is like, so that covers a lot of the airfare, but I mean, kind of a test. Anyone watching the video on YouTube, like, you're sitting in a car right now, right? So like, you're traveling.
I'm in my car right now.
Yeah.
I'm currently driving across the country.
Yeah. So as we speak, you're traveling. I mean, is that daunting? Like, I know you've hit some pretty bad storms and been fortunate to make some good times, but like, how do you prepare for that? I mean, I know there's a couple times where we've talked and you're like, yeah, I've got to push the speed limit just a little bit because I've got to make it, and I'm going to make it close. And I'm like, all right, man, like, be safe. Just whatever you do, be safe. But like, what is that? How do you prepare mentally? And not only that, but like, how do you prepare, for that type of traveling?
So I always liked road tripping. It's been something I really, really liked. And I knew it was going to be something in my life that I was going to do more of. So back in 2020, to prepare myself for that mentality, I wanted to build up endurance. So with zero planning, just day of being like, I need to do this. I drove from Washington, D.C. to Alaska. And just cause. And I was like, I need to build up my endurance if I'm going to do this more often. And doing that has, I don't want to say like, I guess the word is gave me perspective on how long and how terrible some drives can be. But anything shorter than like that is a miracle. And I just like, it helps me put stuff into perspective. It's like, well, it's shorter than driving to Alaska. And I did that. So this drive is fine.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Listen, I would have never done that. So I definitely commend you for that one. But I drive a lot for work. So I understand because, for work, I basically cover an 8-hour circumference of where I live. Right?
Okay.
That's pushing it. 8 hours is like to the very top, I would say, and usually anything over 4, I contemplate flying, because I'm like, dude, is it gonna be easier to fly or just drive it?
Bougie as hell.
But
I definitely say most people should be flying. The only reason I drive so much is because I'm in a Honda Civic with amazing miles. Like, I can, like, once I'm on a highway for long enough, I'm getting 500 miles to fill up, and a fill up's like $27, if not $32. Like,
And
most of the time, that's cheaper than a flight. If I get like one person in my car with me, that is cheaper than a flight.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, you get to see the United States, right? I mean, you get to travel everywhere and see everything. Like, that's already worth it.
Yeah, there's a lot.
The memories I've made just by road tripping have been amazing. Like, yeah, it can be like daunting sometimes, being like, wow, I'm about to drive 15 hours and I need to do this in one day. Like, it definitely creates I don't want to say regret, but like, when you're getting to the day of like, you got to leave on a trip, you're like, why did I do this to myself? But then you end up just loving it once you start doing it. Like, every time I've been like, I should have just flown. And then when I get in my car, I'm like, this is so much more fun.
Yeah.
I get to see the country. and it's great.
Yeah, I'm one of the weird people that say humans were supposed to be on the ground, or we'd have wings if not. So I totally agree with you. I don't like flying unless I absolutely have to. Hence why we're probably all going to drive to Portland, because it's 14 hours.
That's not too bad. That's like what, 8 hours for you?
14 hours.
14.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's not too bad.
It's a trek, but it's not. I mean, it's not as bad as some
Terrible.
things you've. Yeah.
Hey, I'm doing a 16-hour drive tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that, I mean, that is kind of, I guess the trade-off of how much you're traveling and the space that you live in as a pro player at this point. I mean, you travel to pretty much all the events. I would say I'd put you in the pro player category, personally. I don't know if everyone that might be.
If there is a meme player category, I'd be number one.
Hey,
if there is a meme player,
I will never forget sitting 2 seats down from you at Sacramento. We looked over at each other. We're like, "Hey, we're so close." And you looked at your opponent. You mulligan once. You're like, "I mulligan 3 times. I scoop. That's my rule." And they were like, "Wait, what?" And I started laughing. And my opponent was like, "Are they serious?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's just how they operate." And I know you posted that you might change that a little bit. I don't know, but it's like, I think that does bring some kind of fun to the room. But yeah, the more you travel and stuff, I think you will have to maybe reduce that if you wanna get a little more points. But I mean, hey, you've made worlds and I haven't, so I guess I'm speaking to the wrong tree.
The fact that I made worlds with those rules still blows my mind. Like, those rules are really fun. Like, as I said before, as long as I'm having fun, I feel like I'm winning. And the amount of times I've played someone towards the end of a tournament and been like, that was a highlight of my weekend. It makes my day every time, because it's like I made someone's day better. And if I can just do that within a 50-minute match, I don't care if I win or lose. It's a win for me.
And those little things don't not only make your day like funner, but your opponent. Like those are stories they're going to tell for forever now.
As I said earlier, this community is so like intertwined and like everyone knows each other. I'll just be going to an event sometimes and someone like, "Hey, you played my friend at this event. They told me this about you." They talk about it still to this day. Thank you for that. And I'm just like, "Oh, thank you."
Yeah, I mean, it's like how we met technically, in San Diego. Like that whole interaction was just gold. Like I can talk, that's basically how me and Ryan came about it. Like when Ryan told me he knew you, I was like, well, I know him from this. It's cool.
Yeah.
And I think
if you just leave an impact on someone's life with just like a small moment of kindness, I think everyone should do it.
Yeah.
Giovanni, who your friend who plays Maridon, it's Carlos, right? I don't want to get his name wrong.
Yes.
Carlos played Alex in Sacramento. And
oh, really?
Yes. Carlos comes up to me after their match. I didn't know that Carlos had played Alex, right? Comes up to me. It's like, yeah, I prized 2 Maridons, and my opponent asked if we wanted to replay the match, or they would just give it to me, so it was 1-1,
crazy, right?
So we could play a game 3. And I started laughing. I was like, "What'd you do?" And Carlos was like, "Oh no." I was like, "No, it's fine." And then later on, I'm talking to Alex. He's like, "Yeah, that was me." And I started laughing. I was like, "Dude, what a small room." You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, Carlos still talks about that. Like, I'll still mention like Sacramento. He's like, "Oh yeah, man, I prized those 2 prizes against your friend." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just."
That's what it's about. Like that's what the Pokemon community should be about, like creating memories and having a good time, you know what I mean? And that's so dope that like I'm hearing these stories, you know what I mean? And then even like just like you said, everything's intertwined. Yeah. So dope.
Yeah, it's totally
It's crazy. I didn't know Carlos knew y'all. Oh, wait, did I know that?
Well, we talked about
because we talked about it, right? We did talk about it. Yeah.
I said,
I actually Airbnb'd with him.
Yeah, so Giovanni actually roomed with him up there. So it's just a crazy, a crazy intertwined world. It's so cool that like it's full circle always. But like I said, they still talk about it all the time. Like I talked to Carlos and he's like, "Yeah, man, I had a blast." And it was comical that they were like, "Do you just want to play game 3, I'll give you the win. Like, it's like
I love it. That's
just things
crazy.
like that. It changes people's perspective on the game. So,
Mhm.
well, so I know we talked a little bit earlier about the, the travel, the Pokemon scene that you're used to. How does, I know you kind of go back and forth between like Utah and DC and everywhere else in the world. How does that compute? How does that compute? I know kayfabe is a big part of your, your locals.
Kayfabe cards.
That's right.
Yeah, kayfabe's a huge, part of your locals, and I see you obviously stream there a lot. What does the Utah scene look like, or kayfabe? And like, I know kayfabe does a lot for the community. I don't know if you want to touch on that. I always like to kind of, poke and pry a little bit to see what shops do across the U.S. So I think it'd be kind of cool to hear that.
So, full disclosure, I haven't been active in the Utah scene for about a year because I was constantly traveling for the 2024 calendar year. A lot has changed because I came back in January and I was like, whoa. A lot of stores that were like prominent stores shut down, unfortunately, in Utah, which is, Utah does have the most amount of card stores per capita in the country. So like, card stores just come and go. It happens. I think that's like the main thing I like about Utah is there's so many card stores. You can just go to a new place almost every single week and you can be finding a new store for ages. But specifically kayfabe cards, what they like to do is they like to foster a community that's of like competitive players. They obviously love collectors, so they have their collector nights, but the pricing they have for their Monday and Friday tournaments are just so good. If you're like a player, you're gonna want to try hard. So I don't want to say the best because I don't go to the rest of the Utah state a lot, but I think it's the best store in the Utah Valley, competitive wise, because they just create this good competitive scene between good pricing, supporting their players. Like if you go there consistently and like you can't pay one day, like I don't want to say they do it all the time, but every now and then you just don't need to pay for registration for that one tournament. Looking out for their players at regionals because they're always vending as much regionals as they can. So like if a player needs a pack of sleeves, like a local needs sleeves, you can just get sleeves from them at the event. They'll help you get whatever cards you need. Like, hey, I need this deck built. They're like, we'll have it ready for you and sleeved by the time you get there. Like,
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's super cool too. Like every time I've been to like a kayfabe vendor, like at the events, they're so nice, nicer than everyone else.
Amazing.
Hey, my
They're
favorite
so
thing
amazing.
is they always have older prize pack energies. I don't know how they come up on play pack energies. They always have them though, like the older, like just after like Black
The Pop
and White.
series, right?
Yeah, the Pop series ones, like the old like League ones, and they're always
The
like,
secret is they have a good buy rate. They're one of the stores that have the best rate to sell the cards to in the Utah Valley. So everyone just goes there.
okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah, because
Yeah.
every time I go to a regional, that's the first booth I go to. I go there, I check in, and then when I go hit the shop part after, it's the first thing I do is go over to the kayfabe booth because I want to check out the energies, the energy cards. I always try to grab. They usually have them anywhere from, maybe a little bit higher now, but like $3 to $6 a piece, right? So like you can get some hollow stamped energies for a decent price, and it's not something you're gonna find every day, and you can see the quality of them. And they always have like, we rolled to Sacramento, we played Lost Box, and I went up to the booth and I was like, I need, what did we play, Nikki? Was it a 3-3-3-2 line?
It was 3 water, and then everything else was 2. So 2 electric, 2 metal, 2 grass, and 1 psychic.
Yeah, and I literally told them that, and within like 10 seconds, they had them all laid out, and I was like, done. Like, this is great.
Their system they have is so good. Like, I help with the booth every now and then, but their system is so organized compared to the other vendors I see at events. It's crazy. They're the goats. Like, honestly,
for sure.
if you need to buy cards at a regional, go to kayfabe cards.
Yeah,
like, one of my favorite stories.
Online, right? I mean, they
Yeah.
even have a good inventory on their website, right? On kayfabe cards.
Yeah, even online. Like, one of my favorite stories for how good they are at finding cards is Jake Santiago. I think he lost his deck round 2, I think, at a regional, and he just ran over to the Kayfabe booth. He's like, I need a Mew deck. Here's my list. Kayfabe had it all ready for him within, like, I'd say 5 minutes. It was crazy. They had a whole new deck ready for him to go to continue for the next round. And he wasn't, like, that's just crazy. I don't think any vendor could do that.
No,
Right.
I don't think so either. Yeah, I always, I always tell people when we go to events and they're there, I'm like, that's probably who I'm gonna buy most of my cards from today. And I usually go back throughout the weekend. I mean, Nikki and I, we played. I went there Friday, bought the energies, and then played. I missed day 2, went back on Sunday, and bought stuff for decks that I was building after the event from them. So it's like I hit their booth multiple times per regional because it seems like, throughout the whole event, they buy so many cards on the floor that they have like they have everything you need throughout the whole event. It's great.
No, yeah. They tell me that they go to the events mainly to buy. So like if you go on Sunday, they're gonna have so much more stuff. I love watching them slowly accumulate stuff. Like it's great.
Yeah, definitely. I've yet to actually go to their store. I don't go to Utah as much anymore. We used to have.
It's a great store.
Yeah, we used to have family friends out there, and they moved to Oregon. So now I don't go out to Utah that much, but I used to go to like Southern Utah a lot. But one of these days I'll have to make a special trip. Maybe I'll hit like a cup or something. Maybe I'll pull a Pokeduels and drive, 15, 18 hours or whatever it is to a cup.
Yeah,
We'll all go.
Yeah, we'll all go.
It's just amazing how much they love their players. Like, I don't think I've ever, like, there's obviously a bunch of stores that, like, will love their community, but I don't think I've ever played in a store that loves their community as much as Kayfabe. Like, as I mentioned before, there's a Friday night and Monday night tournament. The Monday night started because the players kept showing up every Monday and buying a box and hosting their own tournaments, that they're just like, you know what? We'll do Monday nights now. If enough people show up, we'll do Monday nights.
Awesome.
And like they'll just do whatever to make the players happy, even if it's just like they don't care if they make a profit. Like when they were doing the Monday nights in the beginning, as long as it broke even on the box, they didn't care. Like they just let us use their space.
I think that's something to be said though for card shops. A lot of them look at the raw dollar on like entries and everything, and they up like their entry price or adjust their entry product, when realistically, like, you're gonna make more money on singles, sleeves, dice, playmats, like all the accessory deck boxes. That, like, you just want to get people there, right?
Exactly.
If you get people there, they'll spend money. And I always say that, like, you're eventually pricing yourself out at some point if you keep raising or adjusting pricing. It's like
exactly
if you keep it to where you break even, or even you take net negative a little bit, but it brings a lot of people in, you'll make your money back on all the other stuff, Exactly. So I'm glad to hear that they figured that out. I mean, hopefully they become a franchise one day, and we get one in our next.
We're hoping. We keep talking about maybe making the franchise.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we will always accept one in our town or nearby. We'll
definitely need to make our community like that for sure.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I love Kayfabe cards. They're great.
Yeah, and every live stream I watched of yours in there, it's always like, it seems like everyone's just having a blast. Like everyone's just having a great time. So
they love their players. Like they're always help out their community if they can. Like almost every time, if they're at an event and I need a couch to crash on, I can crash on their couch. Yeah. I don't always, but like, it's crazy.
Just having that option is super cool.
Yeah.
For sure.
They love their players, and I love them.
Yeah, and
shout out Kayfabe cards. They're the goats.
Yeah,
Kayfabe cards.
For sure, shout out Kayfabe. Like I said, anytime I go to regional, I'm hitting their booth. But I guess that kind of ties into the next question. I know pre-releases are about. I saw you post a little bit of controversy on a pre-release situation you had. On the other side of the coin, where Kayfabe's
raffling pre-releases shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, we have shops doing some not so great things. I don't know if you want to talk about your experience. You don't have to put the shop name out by any means, but just your experience and what a waste of time it was.
Yeah, so I'm not going to mention the store because there's no reason to. The whole reason I made that tweet was to show other organizers that this is an unacceptable way to do registration. But yeah, obviously, if y'all are paying attention, the Pokemon scene is rapidly growing due to like scalpers and this overall more hype in the game, which is cool. But it led to this one store having not enough allocation for a pre-release, but a lot of interest. So what they decided to do is let unlimited amount of people sign up, and once it was 12 o'clock, which is when the tournament started, they just did a lottery system out of I think there was 60 people and they only had 30 slots. So half of the people that showed up were getting kicked out. But they opened up an hour and a half before. So if you got there at door open and waited the whole time, you just wasted an hour and a half to not even play Pokemon. That's just, it's unacceptable. Like, I know Japan has a lottery system for their tournaments, but like, it's not like that. You're not waiting in line in person. Like, it's all digitized. Make it a digital lottery system. Like, oh, it was so stupid.
Have a live roster hours before.
Yeah.
These are the people
For sure.
got raffled in or whatever, you know, or lotteried in, right?
I kind of like how our locals have been doing it. Like the players get first dibs, like, you know, up to a certain point.
That's how they should do it. The players should get first dibs.
Yeah, like players get first dibs. If you're coming to events, like you get the first kits, and then you know, so on and so on.
Yeah.
Were you there when that guy came and he paid for the pre-release or whatever? He sat down and then waited till he got his kit and then just took off.
Oh yeah.
So many people are doing that.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I haven't. I've been on vacation. I literally came back today at like, I got home at like noon, 1 o'clock. So I haven't played.
Yeah, all the players were like shocked. We were like, what? Like, because if you think about it, it's like taking away from somebody that wants to play in the pre-release. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like then again, like there's benefits for playing. Like most shops don't give out the last 3 packs till the end of the event. Right. So he just missed out on 3 packs that he could have got for just staying an extra. I'm assuming he's keeping it sealed so he can just resell it, which sounds so weird.
Okay, you paid $35 to play in the pre-release, or $30
to make what, 30 maybe?
No, dude, it's $50 for a pre-release thing on TCG Player, like $48 or something is market price.
Oh, so you're not even making double your money?
No,
yeah.
Like, I don't
play the game.
Yeah, just play the game.
I think that's why a lot of shops don't give the extra 3 prize pack or extra 3 packs up front, is because then people just walk out, right?
No.
Yeah, exactly. I'm totally okay if they wait until like the end of the tournament, but oh man, the people that show up and leave immediately make me so mad.
Well, so we had a shop here. Their whole signups was you had to participate in their leagues to even sign up. So like it filled up because we had, I think they got like 20 or 30 kits, whatever it was. But we have that many players showing up between Tuesday and Friday. So they filled up with just sheer players, which is the way it should be, you know.
100%.
But yeah, so that's, you know, that's kind of.
I want to add something about pre-release. For those of you who don't know, the amount of kits your store gets is based on league attendance. If you don't want this to happen again, have more people attend league and have their stores report their league attendance, and you'll get more kits for your pre-releases.
100%.
Right.
100%.
Grow your community, have better pre-releases.
Yeah. I was in, like I said, I was on vacation, but I was in Vegas, and I was half tempted to tell the family, like, hey, I'm gonna sneak off. Dark Side had, I think they had, I don't want to be wrong, but I think it was like 60 plus players for their.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And
yeah.
They had enough kits because their community's that big, but like they had people like lined up inside the store. They even had a couple tables outside, and the weather was great this weekend in Vegas, so like it worked out really well. But yeah, they even had a couple people like outside playing on tables, so it's kind of just shows the volume. Like you said, if you build the community, they'll have the product, you know.
Right.
But have you played in? I know you did. I assume you missed the one for the raffle, but did you play?
Oh no, I made it in.
Oh, you did.
I was being mad for the people I saw that were there because I showed up at doors open, and someone that was there at doors open got kicked out, and I was like, that could have been me.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was mad for them.
So I mean, what do you think? Is Journeys worth it? I mean, what cards?
Oh my gosh. I don't know if it's just I haven't opened a pre-release in a while, because I will admit I haven't been to a few pre-releases for a few sets, but I love pre-release format.
Same.
The 3 pre-releases I went to, I hit so many packs that had only Pokemon in them. Finding trainers was near impossible.
Wow.
I think I pulled out of those 3 pre-releases only 7 additional trainers out of all the packs. It was crazy.
Wow.
So,
Especially with all the
journeys
trainers in
might
the
be
set.
shocked.
Yeah.
What?
It's especially with all the trainers in the set, like the Hops band and like the good supporters in the stadiums. Like not finding those at pre-release is really tough.
I don't know if I'm just having bad luck, but I don't know if I want to open more of this set. I might just buy my singles.
Yeah, buy the singles. There's always a way to go.
Just buy your singles.
I-
you know?
I
Give it
love pre-release
cards!
format. Pre-release format's super fun because like
Mhm.
everyone gets a chance to like have their own creation of building their decks, which is cool.
Yep.
But the best way to get cards is buy singles. Like
Yeah.
never just buy boxes to get what you need. It's never worth
Yeah.
it.
100%.
Exactly. Unfortunately, I still gamble with buying boxes because I like that.
They're fun.
But-
They're fun. Yeah.
It's fun.
I would say if you don't have a disposable income, right? If you don't have
Yes,
the
there we
money to
go.
spend on
Be
it,
smart how you spend your money.
yeah, if you don't have
Don't be like
disposable
me.
yeah,
When
then
I was
buy
when I was up in Rhode Island, I needed a shuckle for a Lugia list for like a joke tournament, and I knew it was in Obsidian Flames. I think I went through a booster box and a half, just trying to find a shuckle. It's like a 50-cent card, but I'm like, I'm not buying this single. I'm pulling it from a pack, and I went through so many.
Did you
What?
find it?
No, I gave up. They ran out of packs for me to open it.
That's so toxic.
Yeah, that is toxic. But yeah, definitely if you don't have the funds to do so, buy singles. Singles are
Yeah.
always the best bet. And what I can say is be patient, right? Don't pay pre-release prices for singles.
Do not.
Yeah, like wait a week or two, play what you got, you know what I mean? Like, and then the prices.
Yeah, I think I messed up there. I've like paid for every single pre-release out here. I'm like
Yeah,
hoping
do
to
not
pull
do
these cards.
that.
I'm not pulling anything. Like,
Yeah.
I still feel bad. Like, I don't want to say I don't have empathy for backpackers, which I don't know if y'all know that phrase. People that go to card stores and like sell stuff out of their backpack. I don't want to say I like have no empathy towards them, but there's this one backpacker that I sold an Alt Art Miriam at Scarlet and Violet pre-release for $280. That card is now like I think $30.
Yeah.
Like,
That's crazy.
that's just an example of how bad pre-release prices can be.
Well, no, for
Like-
sure. I mean, me and Ryan have a story, right? Like, I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan of Gengar, and we were sitting across from each other, and he pulls like the full art Gengar from I don't know what set it
It
was.
was from, was it a city?
Twilight
It's the
Masquerade?
yeah, maybe Twilight. I don't know. It's the EX. It's from one of the modern sets. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Twilight Masquerade, maybe.
Yeah, I think that is Twilight. Yeah.
Maybe it is,
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I need that card, and I was like, $40, and he's like, sure, give him $40. A week later, it's like $8. I was like, dang.
Yeah. I even told him. I said, Nick.
Why'd you do that to yourself?
I even
I
told
really
him, said,
wanted it.
Nikki, just wait. Like I pulled 2 of them that day, and I was like, just wait. I don't know the prices yet. Like just wait. And he's like, nah, hold on. And he like looks online. He's like, here, $40. I was like, all right.
I was like, it's got to be worth like $100 like later this month. It's got to be. It's a full art Gengar.
You're probably not wrong. Like the amount of like craziness that the 151 collectors are having, maybe I go up.
Well, I think now it's like a $20 card. So like,
Okay.
but
Well, it's going up. I still have it, so I
I
mean,
got you back though. I pulled the. We were playing at League the other night. I pulled the stamped unfair stamp. And
Oh,
was
yeah,
like,
I have that
"Here,
too."
Take it, because he wanted one. I was like, here, take it. And he's like, nah, dude, that's like a $60 card right now. I was like, I don't care, take it.
Stamped on fair stamp is $60.
I don't know what it is now, but
I don't know what it
when
is,
this
yeah.
happened, it was like 50
Bro.
or $60. And I was like, just take it. And he's like, dude, no. And I'm like, I don't care. Like I have a regular unfair stamp. I'll be fine. Just take it. So it made my guilty conscience go away by giving him the unfair stamp, you know. But yeah, I don't have a lot of sympathy for people who go to pre-release just to pull the cards to try to flip. So in like your case,
They're the worst.
yeah. And I'll always I always offer them to shops. So like we have a shop here that has a lot of collectors that buy on release and they buy at the peak prices. So like if I pull something, I offer it to the shop. I'm like, hey, do you want to buy this at 70% of market or whatever the going rate at the shop is, And sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no, and I don't care either way because I'm just playing. Like I don't.
just wait.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It doesn't
Just
hurt
wait.
my feelings either way, but 9 times out of 10, the shop will buy it, and I'll make more than it's gonna be in 2 weeks, and I just
Oh, for
buy
sure.
all the regular arts in 2 weeks of whatever I'm wanting, So you know, you
I
can
think-
capitalize on that.
I think like for anybody, like buying cards at pre-releases, like you can wait 2 weeks. Like you can play the same deck you played a week ago and just play that for another 2 weeks and suffer to save your pocket a little bit.
Yep, 100%. So,
I wish I knew that before pre-release. I wish you
They're
guys told me.
fun though. If you like pre-releases, and we're not saying to not play in them because they
Yeah.
are fun formats.
They are super fun formats. I
it's my
love
favorite.
pre-release.
It's
Yeah.
my favorite format, actually.
It's dope because everybody's a beginner again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
nobody knows what to do. Like
Everyone's
how
on
to,
the
Exactly.
same
build a
playing
deck.
field. Everyone's on the same playing field unless you pull Cornerstone, EX, and Twilight Masquerade. Then you just auto win
Dude,
the
Step of
format.
Crown, I pulled the Sparkling Crystal and the Terapagos. So I was just like,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I had double Buffalo Fan for in my
Yes.
I felt so I was trolling that pre-release. I was crown opaling people, right? It wasn't even unified beatdown. I was attaching for turn, like letting them knock out the fan because there's not a lot of gust in pre-release, right? So I was like, attach for turn, pass. They would knock out the fan. I would attach crystal, attach for turn, and then crown opal, and they can't swing through it. And I would just have the Terapagos.
That's nutty,
I
dude.
love that.
I'm just like, what do you
Pre-release. If you get an EX in pre-release format, you're almost always winning.
Yeah, but it's so fun. I think I enjoy it the most because it reminds me of like base set Pokemon. You know,
Mhm.
it's very slow. It's like a lot more for the fun of the game, not really, high competitive stakes. So that's why it is one of my favorite formats. But
I got an update on that unfair stamp card. Giovanni just sent it to me. There's a listing right now for $100.
see,
And the
I have one
market
too.
the market price is 40. So
we're square.
There has to be a buyout happening or something.
oh for sure.
That's
Because aren't they they're reprinting that, right? In the Dragapult box or something like that?
Unfair
it's not-
stamp will be
it's not
it's
stamped.
not the stamped one.
Yeah, so you can only.
Oh well, not the stamped one, but I mean, like, won't the market for it go down since it's going to be more? No, that doesn't work like that.
I think the prize. I think like the stamp cards. Like a lot of collectors, like they want to complete those sets, and they're super hard too. It's like that one dumb card, the Doldrio or whatever it was, that was super hard to get in the sets. Like that's why that
Right.
card was like $30 because the collectors wanted them, and they're hard to get.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't know, man. The market's crazy, but well, other than that, I mean, I think the last thing is we'll spin all the way back to your Twitter and the following you have and the controversy it brings. The Yu-Gi-Oh drama.
The Yu-Gi-Oh drama. Dun dun dun.
I need to explain what the Yu-Gi-Oh drama is first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
I have no idea what it is, by the way.
Oh, so
I just heard about it.
You're
from
in
these
for
guys.
a ride. There's
All right, cool.
I can link you to so many YouTube videos afterwards.
Yeah, do that.
It was a great
Well-
time to be alive and be on the outside looking in. Like I mentioned before the pod, I know most of your humor, right? Like we joke around enough where I know most of your humor. So when things get posted on the Pokeduels page, generally I can tell if it's you, and then also generally I can tell if it's a joke and just like you just having a good time or you being serious. And I think that's where a lot of this got missed, is people just didn't catch that.
That is where it got missed. So, for context, for people who are watching this for first time, the Pokeduels Twitter consistently has multiple people on it. I personally think it's hilarious to have multiple people on one account, especially when it's like a one-person account. I just think that's funny. So, a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh players, they hit me up and they're like, "Yo, Pokeduels, you haven't like posted a bunch of like rage bait recently. Do you want to piss off the Yu-Gi-Oh community?" And I'm like,
I dabble.
I dabble.
Yeah, I dabble.
That's an excellent goal. We'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, I said, sure, why not? And for context, these are really good Yu-Gi-Oh players. I'm not going to name who they are because they requested to be anonymous,
Right.
but they've won events. They're really good players.
Yeah.
So they started posting these rage bait, like, also for more context, when I gave them the password, I was doing car maintenance at the time, so I wasn't actively looking at my Twitter. I was just like, yeah, sure, I'm busy for the day. If you want to handle tweeting, go ahead.
Hey,
So-
I will tell you, I sat back and enjoyed the ride. I
Oh.
loved every moment of this. I definitely put my 2 cents out there and got some rage bait, even on my own. I
Oh,
had
for
someone
sure.
DM me and thinking I was the Pokeduels account, and basically like going off, and then I was like, it wasn't me, you know, like.
Exactly.
So like going back to what Giovanni said earlier about like, do you ever fear for your safety? Like, you don't have to worry about that in the Pokemon community, like whatsoever. But there was a couple comments that were made in some of those like posts that were like harmful, like going to hurt you type. It's like, what the
Yu-Gi-Oh players, what are they gonna do? Throw an air fryer at me?
Yeah.
they're gonna send you to the Shadow Realm, man.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. Anyway, I think it was like, Ryan, you were watching. It was like, what, a 3-hour dilemma that happened?
3 or 4 hours
Like-
of pure gold.
Yeah. Oh, I can't even remember what the first post was. I think the first post was the TCG rankings, where it's like talking about like how it had Yu-Gi-Oh at top and Pokemon at the bottom, but Uno was in the middle.
Yeah.
That one, I think that one got like 2,000 likes or something.
No,
Started some discussion, and then the next post was talking about spreadsheets for Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, I didn't know this was a thing. Apparently, Yu-Gi-Oh is very sequential, and like you just need to like solitaire these sequences in the game. So like people just have like a bunch of spreads. It's like coaching. You know how like coaching is a huge thing in Pokemon?
Yep.
Spreadsheets is what they do. They make spreadsheets for these decks and matchups and just sell the spreadsheet.
Wow.
Apparently that's a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a thing, but
Yeah, I would have never guessed.
I've never
yeah, I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh, but the Yu-Gi-Oh player who made that tweet was just like, these spreadsheets are so simple compared to the sequencing you do in Pokemon. Like,
It's not that hard.
yeah, they're like, it's not that hard, blah 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 blah, and then
they are playing for an air fryer, not actual money, so it can't be
Exactly.
too difficult, right?
but yeah, that tweet blew up. I think it got, I want to say 900 likes, but like 300 comments, if not more.
No, and
But-
the engagement was
Yeah.
crazy. Like,
It was
you know how it
insane.
counts like your views or whatever. So I know it has
Yeah.
like the likes, the comments, and there's like the analytical number. You were getting like dumb numbers, like 10 to 40,000 views on these posts, and I was just
Oh, at the
dying.
end of the day, it was 1 million. I think it was 1 million views within that one day, because I looked at the end and I was like, wow, okay, 1 million impressions today. Cool.
Yeah, like, it was insane. And I just
Yeah.
remember I remember so many people getting mad at the fact that like, oh well, Pokemon's easier than Yu-Gi-Oh, and like the back and forth, and like I think multiple times I just posted in there like, yeah, but we play for money. We don't
Yeah,
play
exactly.
we don't play for an air fryer.
They play
or
for air
Switch.
fryers, dude. Like, I'm not hating on Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh I used to play as a kid, but like, you guys are playing for air fryers.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, and I same way. I that's when I left Pokemon originally. I played early Yu-Gi-Oh, like OG Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I like I said, I stopped all that altogether. But yeah, so like no hate. Like, enjoy your card game. I don't care if you're playing Magic, Lorcana, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever. I don't care. But it was just like,
So what's the I dabble? What's that?
Oh man.
Okay, so
Oh man, this is tough.
there was a few more tweets that the Yu-Gi-Oh players made where basically we're saying that Pokemon is significantly more difficult than Yu-Gi-Oh due to the sequencing and stuff. And one of their big, I don't even know if I don't know what the good comparison for us is, but
I don't know either.
a
He's
relatively
player.
large Yu-Gi-Oh tuber tweeted at the Pokeduels account being like, $1,000 money match. And since Pokeduels is a money match account, they DM'd me, they're like, you just got money matched by Galzo. And I'm just like, who the hell is Galzo? They're like, we should money match him. And I'm like, I'm doing maintenance on my car. I'm like, I'm doing maintenance on my car. Do whatever. I don't care. And they're like, okay. And now keep in mind, the person that's doing these tweets has won an event. I don't think Galzo's won an event. So they started rage baiting him in the comments, being like, "Oh, but I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh!" And Galzo's like, "Oh, okay." And then they're like, and then it's like, "How much time do I have to learn?" And Galzo said, 24 hours. And then the person was just like, "We should just drop the bit. We'll just let him figure out where a Yu-Gi-Oh player said, okay, Terelement mirror. Let's do it right now. Let's run it."
Yeah.
First off, if you have any brain cells, immediate red flag.
100%.
That mirror is the equivalent of of a noob being like, let's play the Lost Box mirror.
Yeah.
Right.
Or something. Yeah.
Yeah. If someone claimed they never played Pokemon and hit me with let's play the Lost Box mirror, I'm not playing that person.
Hold on.
Well, and there's things in that comment, right, too, that he was saying things that was like it was obvious he was a Pokemon player, right? Like I don't know the exact term. I mean, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh player. I don't know the exact terminology, but like phase or like whatever those terms are. He was using it like he played Yu-Gi-Oh. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, the money match.
You could tell like it was pretty like to me again. I guess I kind of know the satire and you a little differently. So like, but I'm like, there's no way this is real. Like, there's no.
Yeah.
Come on.
It was very clearly not me. And to defend me, before this even happened, I tweeted out this account's going to become more insufferable today. The Yu-Gi-Oh players have control, and no one.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, and no one decided, let's look at the profile, and let's just scroll down 2 tweets.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the money match happened. It's called Dueling Book. Dueling Book is their third-party online sim that has a chat log and a chat box, which I think letting Yu-Gi-Oh players chat during a game is not a good idea. But anyway, they were chatting, and the I dabbled comes from because like he was saying like M1, which means main phase 1, and then doing end, and then M2 for main phase 2. He was doing all the slang and like
going. I was talking about.
Yeah,
right.
He was going through the deck perfectly and completely. For context, he just 2-0'd Galzo. But like throughout the match, he's just doing everything perfectly. It's like, oh, I see that you've played Yu-Gi-Oh, and he replied, I've dabbled.
I've dabbled is such a crazy statement, bro.
And then later in the match when he lost game 1, like, okay, so now I know you're actually a really good Yu-Gi-Oh player. How come you've lied about not playing Yu-Gi-Oh? And he replied again, I've dabbled. And I forget. Well, he replied it one more time. I forget what the context was for the third reply.
Oh, here I have the whole chat log.
Yeah, it's so funny.
It says so. Galzo, he says, "What's the secret, Pokeduels? What do you mean? You obviously play Yu-Gi-Oh, even though you said you didn't. I've dabbled." And Galzo said, "You haven't dabbled. You're hassling, Pokeduels. You're hustling too, trying to take advantage of someone who doesn't play with the hardest mirrors in the game. I'm genuinely asking. You said on Twitter, I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh. So you don't, or are you? So you do play, or you don't? I've dabbled again. His crazy work.
Yeah,
that's a lie.
So funny.
And then he says, that's a lie. And then Pokeduels again. It's not. I've definitely dabbled.
Crazy work.
Oh, it's so funny.
Dude was so funny with it. Like when I got sent that the link to watch the replay afterwards, I was reading the chat log and I was just losing it because I had no idea this happened. Like I didn't even know he made a Pokeduels Dueling Book account. Like he did not need to do that.
Right. Well, but I think the full circle is the one thing I will commend you on is it wasn't your doing, right? Somebody else had login information, and you still said on Twitter like if they lost, you were willing to put up the money.
Yeah, of course. Like if they happened to lose, I would have honored it. Like I'm not gonna let my friend go into debt for this.
Right.
But like that's like super cool, and honestly, it made the whole thing that much funnier because then you had a whole nother reaction to that because everyone's like, oh yeah, right. And it's like anyone that knows you knows that you would have put up the money, you know, like you wouldn't have tripped at all. You'd be like, all right, whatever, it is what it is, you know. But
like, I do money matches all the time. Like they don't think that that was so frustrating when they're like, well, I guess we'll never know if you would have. It's like, bro, I lose money matches all the time and pay up. Ask any of my opponents.
Yeah, no, dude, it's so funny. Like that whole thing, I enjoyed every minute of it. So, and like I said,
dang, I wish I could have experienced it like live because I like just hopped on Twitter after.
I was in the comments backing Pokeduels because there was so many people just like hating on it. And I'm just like, bro, relax. It's not that serious, man. You don't need to take it to like a personal offense that this person beats so and so in Yu-Gi-Oh. It's never that serious.
The funniest thing I think after it all settled was someone tweeted out. So I've watched all the Yu-Gi-Oh tubers make videos on the situation. Has any Pokemon YouTubers made videos on the situation? And I replied, "Who cares?" And it's Rachel.
Hey, I will say
He's like,
though, it went to the point like it had so much controversy behind it. We had a shop in Fresno who holds Yu-Gi-Oh locals like religiously.
mhm.
Their prizing
As a
for, like,
meme.
their next big tournament was air fryers.
For all 3
Love it.
divisions.
Yeah, for all 3 divisions. They went and bought air fryers as prizing because of this. And
That's so funny.
it was great. And like all their locals, like they embraced it. They were like laughing and just like, this is great, you know? But like that's the effect that this had. You had like local shops be like, let's go buy air fryers and give them out as prizing for our next tournament. Like, it was great, man.
That was a blast. It was so funny.
Yeah, I definitely, like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought it was definitely fun to just watch it all unfold and like how many people got tilted. Like I said, I had a person DM me and like think I was on the Pokeduels account, like went off, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Wasn't me. And then they're like, oh wait, you're not Pokeduels. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Like, I think someone was wait, was this in replies or comments?
No, this was a DM. I posted it on my Twitter and I just blocked out like I screenshot it and I blocked out their username for the same reasons. Like, I don't want anyone to be attacked or like, you know, targeted or anything like that. But I just thought it was comical because I'm like, wait, why are you DMing me? All I said was y'all are playing for air fryers. Like, don't come at me sideways for this, you know?
Some of those replies are insane.
Yeah. No, that totally fun though. I do think anyone who has never looked at the Pokeduels Twitter, definitely go take a look because you always have something going on to just bring pure joy and comedy to the scene. So anyone who hasn't, definitely check out Pokeduels. But other than that, I mean, do you have any? I know you said you're traveling. Any events that you're looking forward to coming up?
I'm looking forward to Stockholm and Brisbane because those are the last 2 tournaments I get to go flower select. But back to back, I'm not looking forward to those. I think that's like a 36-hour flight or something. But yeah, I'd say those 2 for sure are my highlights because of obviously we're losing Comfy, and then beyond that, going to South Africa again. I loved South Africa, so going for a special event again is going to be a blast.
Are you going to Portland?
No. Portland's May 27th, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's when the South Africa SP is happening. So unfortunately, I will not be there.
We'll
miss you. We will miss you.
We'll miss you at that one for sure.
I'll miss y'all too.
But I am gonna say I am a little disheartened that you are gonna play Lost Box 2 tournaments in a row instead of one last ride with Lugia.
True. I should give Lugia one last ride.
Hey, these guys can vouch. I had a heartbreak. I misplayed. I could have won a cup, and I totally.
You did good. You did good in that cup. I don't care what nobody says. You did good in that cup.
It's still so good. Like I saw blocked a Miraidon player round 1.
Broken.
Yeah, saw blocked a Miraidon player for game 22 turns. I think is what it boiled down to. Yeah.
22 turns?
Crazy work.
Dude, you're cooking!
I said, you have it or you die. Double turbo on the Wellspring. So it was doing no damage on the Latios inactive. And I just said, sob. And they're like, I don't play like a Penny or a Turo or anything. And I said, well, do you play a Switch? They have Arvin. They play Arvin. They're like, I can't remember. They Arvin, looked through their deck, no Switch. And they're like, no. And I was like, then we're doing this for however many cards left in your deck. And it was like 22 turns of saw block.
Jeez.
Yeah. But no, Luke.
And he wouldn't quit either, huh?
Yeah, they wouldn't quit. They were like, no, we're gonna. They were like using their generators, attaching, and I was just like, hey, I don't care that you do all this as long as we finish this game. You know what I mean? Like,
that's so funny, yeah.
Like, as long as we can actually finish, like, I don't care that you're doing this. You know what I mean? Because like you've already said you don't have a win con, so like, but yeah, no, that was you know definitely I would say the most difficult matchup because it's hard to pilot right against Miraidon because it's almost an auto loss. But other than that, man, like Lugia has such a good fit in this format because you have the Regigigas, you know.
It's still the best deck in format when it gets set up, by far.
So if you want the list, I'll send it to you. You just let me know. But I do know you love Lost Box. You've been on that for a while now, so I totally understand. I think it takes me back to the days where I first joined your TikTok and you were playing Lugia. You know, it's like I was the other Lugia guy in the chat.
Yeah,
like,
I love that deck.
Yeah, so, but no, I totally understand. Lost Box is also pretty good in the meta if it gets set up and gets going. So,
Did we already touch on what you would play after rotation?
That's exactly what I was gonna ask.
yeah.
Besides looking at pre-release, the only cards I really know about post-rotation is Hopzation.
Hey,
I don't really know a whole lot. I don't want to say I'm a bot follower of Tord, but Terrabox really
can't
good.
beat him.
Terrabox does look really good.
It does.
And it's almost like Lost Box.
It's
Has
almost
box in the
like
name.
Lost Box.
It's almost like Lost Box. It's there.
See,
It's
what I like
close.
about Terrabox is it has almost no new cards in it, so I don't need to worry about the new cards in the set. I can just...
All it has is the Clefairy,
like
right?
Clefairy.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is Terrabox is like Lost Box, but we have it at home. So like,
Yes.
when you're out at the grocery store with your mom, you're like, can we
It
stop?
might
at
be
McDonald's?
better.
She's like, we got chicken nuggets at home. Is it the same concept here? You know,
It might be better.
Might be better? That's crazy.
It might be better than
It
Lost Box.
instantly loses the walls. What do you mean it might be better?
That's kind of crazy.
No,
Lost
because
Box had a chance against Blocklax, but I don't think you have it out if you're playing Terrabox.
you
Well,
play
you
the
the
cornerstone. You play the cornerstone.
It's just slower.
I still think it's bad. You still got to two-shot everything.
Yeah, it's still slower.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're gonna catch me on the bridge. I'm playing Archaladon.
Hell yeah.
Be ready for the bridge. I have some sauce that I'm gonna put in it for the wall matchup. So I don't know. That's what I'm gonna be on early. You're saying no, dude. I played it. So I played it last week at locals. And
No,
all these
Archaladon's good. I'm shaking my head for Wall. Like I seen your tweet, Pokeduels, about Wall.
Which one? About...
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Like it seems really good on paper. You know what I mean? But then I don't know. We'll have to see how everything plays out.
It makes sense though, right? Like it makes sense that it shuts down and everything.
It's like another control style deck, and controls are
Yeah.
always good in the beginning of any new meta.
Right. Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that is true. That is true. I can... Well, like, in the Japan's top 16, I think it was like Wall or Wall cards were in 5 out of the top 16 decks, which is crazy.
Like I think the best control style is like the Feraligatr, right? Like the Feraligatr new list, like that looks really good with the melodic. Now that's something I can get behind.
Yeah. Because
Yeah, that deck is
attached to it
spicy.
too. So I think that's the difference, and I think that's what we've, especially in North America, that we failed to realize is that we don't have. We're in a typically a best of 3 format, right? And besides like locals or a cup or whatever until you get the top cut, but like we don't have the skill gap. Well, there's a skill gap between us and Japanese players on control decks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they're in the best of 1 forever.
Right. So they just accept the fate. Whereas like I feel like you can cheese 1 win, but like cheesing 2 wins with control and not knowing how to play control is kind of tough. So like I think these wall decks will stick around for a few and then they'll fade out.
I mean that's how it always is at the beginning of a new format. There's always like a good like control or wall style deck that just.
I still think it's gonna stick around because there's no real way to get a. There's no like.
There's no. It'll be
I
around
think
for sure.
Cornerstone's the only shred Pokemon right now. So like, unless they reprint Canceling Clone, we're kind of stuck with like, if you hit wall, you just kind of cook.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely think it slows the game down a little bit, but I think that's also part of the game design, right?
Oh yeah, I think it's great.
So, but other than that, I know a couple of us are hitting pre-release. We'll be at Portland, so
Sure.
if you guys see any of us, definitely let us know. Say hi. If you see Pokeduels, read the room. Don't drown in hello and highs if they're not up to it. Please, be respectful.
And walk and talk, right? Walk and talk.
Yeah, walk and talk. If you're gonna stand still and talk, I hate that.
Yeah. But other than that, any shout outs? I mean, I know, like we said a million times, you can find
Kayfabe.
Yeah, we can find you on Twitter.
Kayfabe.
But shout out to Kayfabe. Anything else? Anything else you want to add to that, Alex?
Pokeduels.net. I try to put free articles on there by top quality players. Free articles. Knowledge should be free. Check that out if you want to learn some cool stuff.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, I thank you for coming on. We'll have to do this again.
Yeah.
You're always welcome. Like I said, we look at
Love
you.
y'all.
Yeah, love you guys too. And yeah, definitely.
Dude, it's been popping up all stream.
Yeah, I don't know if that reaction.
Yeah, like a whole bunch of hearts just now. Did you see them or no?
This?
No, but like you have
There it
hearts
is.
on your screen, but like did you do that?
That's
Who's
love
doing
right
that?
there. That's
I
love.
think it's the same on their end, but I'll have to figure that out. Yeah, anytime you put like a thumbs up, it actually had like a thumbs up reaction.
You'll see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do a thumbs up and a thumbs up will pop.
Whoa.
There's a fireworks now. Now there's
You have,
fireworks.
you have, like,
Feel
reaction.
different, dude.
Do you see it on your screen?
Yeah, I see it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, but most definitely, I'll leave a link to Pokeduels.net, to Kayfabe down below, and to your Twitter. Definitely drop a like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll catch you on the next one.
All right, see ya. It was fun being here.
Thank you again.